Okay, let's dive in. So we've gathered quite a stack of sources for this deep dive. It's all focused on something really fundamental if you're in the rental game: building trust with renters. And this applies whether you're, a traditional setup or using peer-to-peer platforms like Rent Anything Store. The main message coming through loud and clear from everything we looked at: trust. It's not just nice to have, it's the foundation for growth.
Exactly. And that's our mission today, right? To sort of sift through all this material, pull out the key insights. We want to understand why trust matters so much, particularly in rentals. And then, more importantly, get into some practical, actionable ways you can actually build it. Think of it as your quick guide to turning lookers into loyal renters.
Okay, so starting point. Why is trust such a big deal, specifically in renting? It feels different somehow than just buying something outright.
It really does. When you rent something, particularly maybe from someone you don't know, there's this inherent vulnerability involved. You're depending on their item, often for something pretty important, right? Like camera gear for a paid gig, or maybe tools for a project you need to finish, or even just, kayaks for a family trip. You have to trust the item's good, it works, and the person behind it is reliable too.
And that feeling, that need for reliability, it's actually backed up by some pretty compelling data we found. Like one source mentioned in an Edelman study, a huge 81% of consumers say trust is a deciding factor when they buy anything. Apply that to rentals.
Yeah, and it means potential renters are really asking themselves, can I trust this person, this business, to deliver? They need that confidence that, okay, the item's going to be as described, the whole process won't be a nightmare, and importantly, if something does go wrong, because let's face it, sometimes things do, they need to trust you'll handle it okay, fairly and, quickly.
And this isn't just about warm, fuzzy feelings. It hits the bottom line, doesn't it? The sources connect trust to real business results. Like a PwC report saying customers who trust a brand are 70% more likely to come back. That's massive for rentals.
Oh, absolutely. Repeat businesses, well, it's the lifeblood. But it's more than just getting the same person back. That good experience fuels something else incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
What they tell other people. Reviews and referrals. There was a Bright local survey mentioned 91% of people trust online reviews almost as much as a recommendation from a friend.
Wow, 91%. Seriously. That's basically saying what strangers write online is nearly as powerful as word of mouth from someone you actually know.
Pretty much, yeah. It speaks volumes. And Trustpilot data kind of backs this up, too, showing that listings with better trust signals, like higher ratings, they can see conversion rates jump by, get this, up to 270%. People see positive reviews. They feel safer. They're way more likely to book.
Okay. So the why is clear. Trust is absolutely foundational. It drives loyalty, gets people talking, brings in the bookings. But how? How do you actually go about building it? Where do you even start?
Right. Let's get practical. The sources lay out some really concrete strategies, and one of the biggest ones comes right back to what we just talked about, leveraging those reviews and testimonials.
Social proof. Makes sense. People want reassurance that others had a good experience. So step one is probably ask for reviews. Make it easy.
Exactly. Don't make them hunt for it. Maybe send a follow-up message. And then, obviously, showcase the good ones. Put them front and center. But here's the crucial part. Maybe the bit people miss. You need to engage with all of them, even the less than stellar ones.
Yeah, that's the tough part, isn't it? Getting negative feedback online. How do the sources suggest handling that without making things worse?
Quickly and professionally. Ignoring it just looks bad. It signals you don't care or can't handle criticism. One source, Review Trackers, found 53% of customers expect a response within a week. Responding fast, acknowledging the issue, trying to make it right, that can actually turn a negative into a demonstration of good customer care. It shows you're listening.
That speed thing. It leads right into another key point from the sources. Communication. Just being responsive.
Oh, timely and clear communication is absolutely critical. Non-negotiable. Really, people have questions before they book, right? And if you leave them hanging, well, there's data on that too. An HBR study mentioned that businesses responding within an hour are 7 times more likely to qualify a lead than those taking 2 hours or more.
7 times, just by being quick.
Right.
Wow. So maybe like an auto reply saying, got your message, followed by a real answer soon after.
Precisely. Acknowledge it fast, then follow up personally. And beyond speed, it's about being transparent, honest. Even if it's news they don't want to hear, like, sorry, it won't be ready until 3 p.m. instead of 2. Tell them up front. People appreciate honesty way more than being left wondering.
And I guess that transparency has to cover the boring stuff too, like the terms and fees.
Absolutely. Clear terms, clear fees, clear policies before they commit. No one likes surprises, especially when it involves extra money. That's a trust killer. We'll circle back to the specifics of policies, but yeah, clear communication up front is key.
Okay, so we've covered reviews and communication. What about the actual experience, the service itself? How does that build trust?
This is where you can really stand out. Delivering great service, maybe adding those little personal touches. One source told a story about someone renting a camera, and the owner threw in a memory card for free. Small thing, low cost, but it felt like they went the extra mile. Made a big impression.
Yeah, those little unexpected extras. It shows you're actually thinking about their experience, not just the transaction.
Exactly. And on the flip side, how you handle any service problems is vital. Bain & Company research cited shows customers are 4 times more likely to go to a competitor if a service issue isn't sorted out properly. Fixing things well builds huge trust.
And I suppose if it's practical, maybe even just a quick face-to-face during pickup or drop-off can help. It makes it feel less anonymous.
Definitely, if feasible. That meet and greet humanizes it. Lets you connect a bit. You know, if someone's renting your camping gear and you love camping too, a quick chat about spots or gear, it builds rapport beyond just the rental.
Right, makes them feel more comfortable like they're renting from a person, not just a listing. Okay, service matters. What about, well, the very first thing they see, the listing itself?
Trust starts right there. A great listing is step 0, almost. And that means, first off, detailed, honest descriptions. Don't just say great condition. Mention features, sure, but also maybe any little quirks or cosmetic flaws. Be upfront. It prevents misunderstandings later.
And maybe use bullet points or something. Make it easy to scan the important stuff.
Yeah, good structure helps. But visually, photos are king. Clean, clear photos, multiple angles, close-ups, maybe even a shot of the item in use. It helps people visualize it, trust what they're getting. The sources mentioned a Redfin study listings with photos get 94% more views.
94% more just from adding pictures? That's massive.
Yeah.
It really shows how much people rely on seeing what they're renting.
Totally. It builds that initial confidence before they even reach out.
Okay, we touched on this, but let's nail it down.
Yep.
Policies and fees. How does being clear here build trust?
It comes down to avoiding those nasty surprises we mentioned. You absolutely have to list all the potential fees up front. Delivery, cleaning, late fees, whatever they might be. No hidden charges popping up later. That destroys trust instantly.
So, like a clear breakdown. Base rate, X. Delivery optional, Y. Potential late fee per day, Z. Something like that.
Exactly. Super clear. And the same goes for your return and damage policies. What exactly happens if it's late? What's the process if it gets damaged? Having clear rules avoids arguments. And maybe offering an insurance option can also add peace of mind for the renter.
Right. And even if you do everything right, things can still go sideways sometimes, can't they? An item breaks unexpectedly, a renter has a complaint. How you handle that feels like a real moment of truth for trust.
It absolutely is. Which brings us to handling disputes gracefully. The first step may be the most important. Just listen and empathize. There was a Salesforce insight mentioned 78% of customers expect businesses to care about them as people, beyond just the sale or rental. Showing you understand their frustration goes a long way.
That makes sense. Even if you can't magically fix everything, just validating their feelings, showing you actually care, must count for a lot.
It really does. And then you need to offer fair solutions. Maybe it's a partial refund, maybe a discount on the next rental, maybe helping arrange a replacement. Being proactive and fair in resolving issues shows you stand behind your service, even when things aren't perfect. It reinforces trust massively.
Okay, last strategy the source has brought up. It feels a bit different, less tactical, more personal, showcasing passion and expertise.
Yeah, it's about connection. People tend to connect more with and trust individuals or businesses that are genuinely passionate about what they do or what they offer. So share a bit of your story. Why these items? Are you a pro photographer renting gear you love? A DIY expert renting out tools you know inside out? That passion builds credibility.
And how does that translate into something, actionable for the renter?
Go beyond just handing over the item. Offer value adds. Helpful tips on using it, especially if it's complex. Safety advice, best practices, maybe even suggestions for local places where they could use the item, like hiking trails for the camping gear. It shows you're invested in them having a good experience, not just a good rental.
So looking back at all these pieces, the detailed listings, the quick communication, handling issues well, sharing your passion, it really feels like trust isn't just one action. It's kind of woven into everything you do.
Precisely. It's the absolute cornerstone, isn't it? When you consistently prioritize building that trust, you create those lasting relationships. You get the repeat business, you get the glowing reviews, the referrals, all the things that really drive sustainable growth in this space.
And platforms like Rent Anything Store we mentioned, they often provide the tools to help, right? Like messaging systems, review platforms.
Yeah, they provide the framework, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's the commitment from the owner or business to use those tools effectively, to really embody these trust-building practices that makes the difference.
Thinking about all this, maybe here's a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. In a world that feels increasingly digital and sometimes impersonal, what if that relentless focus on building genuine human trust isn't just a strategy for your rental business, but maybe it's the single most powerful way to make what you offer truly stand out and become indispensable?